The Loneliest Women by Zodiac Sign. Why do some women know how to dissolve in love, while others seem to be created to go through life alone, clutching their hearts in the silence of the nights? Why does someone find their happiness easily, while for others it seems to slip through their fingers, leaving only strength, pride, and deep sadness? Today I will tell you about the loneliest women according to their zodiac sign, not those who are simply single, but those whose soul carries a special mission, whose inner depth frightens weak men, and whose fate knows no compromise. These are women walls, women mysteries, women oceans, strong, but truly lonely. If you want to understand why loneliness has become your mirror, or find out which of your close women this prophecy concerns, watch the video to the end. Subscribe if you want to receive not superficial horoscopes, but the truth that burns, but heals. And write in the comments whether you feel like one of them. Now I will reveal who these women are, and why their loneliness is not a weakness, but a sign of strength. The first sign is Virgo. The loneliness of a Virgo woman is not connected with the absence of admirers. It begins at the moment when she realizes that no one around her meets her inner standard. Her mind is too perceptive not to notice falsehood. Her gaze is too precise not to be carried away by the external. She can spend hours in company, smile, carry on a conversation, and at the same time feel an absolute distance. She sees beyond words, deeper than gestures, more precisely than intonations. And therefore loneliness for her is not a forced, but a conscious state. A Virgo woman does not seek love at any cost. She analyzes, observes, records. She is not ready to let someone into her world if this person does not inspire confidence in her on all levels, from logic to intuition. It is because of this multi-layered filtration that those who do not match rarely linger around her. And there are almost no matches. She does not forgive emptiness, does not tolerate superficiality, does not want to explain the obvious. Her loneliness is a form of protection against compromises that she is not ready to make. She knows how to be alone. Moreover, she often prefers loneliness over complex, imperfect relationships. In her world, order is more important than passion without foundation. She needs a partner who speaks honestly, acts consistently, does not let her down. But such people are too rare. Therefore, she closes herself off, builds a career, takes care of loved ones, implements projects, and all this against the background of deep, calm, almost proud loneliness. Virgo is not touched by advice that it is time to open up. She is open. It's just that no one is able to withstand the bar that she does not intend to lower. Her loneliness is not a defeat. It is a position. It is respect for herself, for her values, for her inner order. She does not bargain for attention, does not fall for beautiful words, does not need saving. And that is why, even being alone, she never feels lost. The second sign is Aries. An Aries woman can be the center of attention, surrounded by people, with burning eyes and an assertive voice, and still remain alone. Her strength is frightening. Her directness is scorching, her independence is confusing. Many people feel admiration for her, but do not dare to come closer. She is too bright, too fast, too uncontrollable for those who are looking for comfort. And she does not need someone who cannot withstand her rhythm. And therefore, loneliness comes where there is no equal. She does not ask, does not beg, does not wait. Aries acts. She can fall in love, get carried away, catch fire. and just as quickly lose interest if she feels that there is no support nearby. She needs a strong spirit, direct in words, active in actions. And if there are none, she remains alone, not in tears, not in melancholy, but in a cold, confident distance, because she is not ready to pretend to be weaker in order to be accepted. Her loneliness is not emptiness, but the absence of those who can walk alongside her without clinging. She knows how to be alone, because inside her there is constant movement, fire, and purpose. She does not need support, is not afraid of taking steps alone, and does not depend on opinions. But inside her there is still a need for someone who can accept her as she is, without trying to suppress, re-educate, or adjust to themselves. And it is precisely because of this need and the simultaneous impossibility of finding a suitable one that loneliness becomes the background of her life. Not tragic, but real. She chooses it because the alternative is betrayal of oneself. And this is impossible for Aries. She will go further alone, with fire in her eyes and a heart of steel, than turn from the path for the sake of those who cannot stand her real self. The third sign is Cancer. A Cancer woman can be surrounded by family, colleagues, friends, and at the same time feel unheard. Her loneliness begins where there is no reciprocity at that deep level, where she feels, thinks, loves. She lives with emotions, she invests in people, she waits for a response. And when there is no response, she goes inside herself. At this moment, her real isolation begins. It is difficult for Cancer to explain her feelings, not because she cannot, but because she is afraid of being misunderstood. She is vulnerable, and her heart feels deception, indifference, coldness too subtly. She often prefers to remain silent than to open up to those who do not deserve it. And so, time after time, she becomes more and more withdrawn, not because she wants loneliness, but because disappointment has become habitual. Her loneliness is armor. She will not show how much pain she is in. She will take care of others, help, smile, and only at night will she admit to herself, no one knows how lonely she is. She does not demand much. She needs attention, sincerity, warmth. But more often than not, she receives superficiality, and she cannot cope with this. She retreats into silence, into the house, into work, into caring for others. But there remains emptiness inside. And this is not weakness. This is a choice, not to open up to those who are not ready. Her loneliness is a manifestation of maturity, protection, and principle. She can love, but does not impose. She can wait, but does not ask. And therefore she remains alone, in her world of feelings, memories, unrequited hopes. Because she is not ready to give herself in parts to those who cannot hold even a small part of her soul. The fourth sign of Fish. She does not seek solitude, but every time she finds herself in it. A woman born under the sign of Fish can feel the pain of others as if she were reliving it, but she keeps her own inside, not allowing anyone to touch her. In a crowd, she may seem sociable, attentive, soft, but as soon as the conversation ends, her reality becomes empty. She is not lonely because of a lack of attention. On the contrary, she is surrounded. But there are almost never those nearby who understand her depth. This is not about sadness or depression. This is about chronic misunderstanding. The men in her life often want to save her, but they cannot stand her silent immersion in herself. She does not ask for help because she does not believe that anyone can truly hear her. Too sensitive, too vulnerable, too forgiving. Those who come take advantage of her spiritual openness. Those who stay hurt her even more. She does not hold on to those who do not feel the boundaries, but also does not let go of memories. That is why she remains alone, even when she is not physically alone. Her loneliness is not in an empty apartment, but in an overflowing heart. A Pisces woman can live for a long time in the illusion that she is loved. She projects kindness, creates ideal images, hopes that someone will get to the bottom of it. But more often than not, this does not happen. She is told that she is incomprehensible, strange, even detached. But no one guesses that inside, she has a constant dialogue with herself in which she is looking for where she made a mistake. And even if she decides to leave, she will do it without a scandal, without noise, simply dissolve in silence. Loneliness for her is not a punishment, but a familiar companion. She knows how to fill the emptiness inside, with books, music, creativity. But this does not replace human closeness. She may seem strong, wise, balanced, and that is what she is. But every night she falls asleep with a question. Is there anyone in this world who will not be afraid of her inner ocean? She will not scream about her loneliness, will not complain to her friends, will not post tears on social networks. Her silence is a scream that is not heard. Her silence is a confession of fatigue. She accepts loneliness as a given because she believes that someday someone will hear her, without demanding words, without imposing, without saving, but simply will remain. A Pisces woman does not ask for love. She is waiting for the one who will not destroy her from the inside. While she is not there, she chooses loneliness, because at least it does not betray. The fifth sign is Sagittarius. She does not have time to explain why she is alone. A Sagittarius woman looks free, independent, confident, and this is true. But behind this is not spoiled by attention, but a deep internal conflict. She is torn between the desire to be with someone and the fear of losing herself. She is afraid that someone will be nearby who will prevent her from breathing, so it is easier to be alone. She rejects people herself, even before they have time to get close. Even if someone shows interest, she sees this as a potential trap. Her freedom is her armor, and although she often feels lonely inside, outwardly she will laugh loudly, flirt easily, and pretend that she does not need anyone. This is a defense mechanism honed over the years. Her loneliness is the result of a choice not to adapt, not to be convenient, not to accept less than she wants. Men feel fire, passion, liveliness in her, but they cannot stand her pace. She is not the one who will wait for someone to make up their minds. She leaves first, often too early. She can fall out of love for a phrase, for an intonation, for an attempt to limit her. But every time she leaves, she is left alone. Not because there is no one, but because no one could stand being around her. She is a woman who is hard to live up to. Her mind cannot stand mediocrity, and her heart cannot stand predictability. Ordinary relationships are boring for her, and non-standard ones often end in pain. She wants to be with someone who will be her mirror, but each time someone else is reflected in the mirror. So she is left alone again. Loneliness for a Sagittarius woman is not a drama. It is a way to survive in a world that wants too much from her. She goes on trips, projects, ideas, new goals. But inside she always knows that if the one and only appeared, she would stop. The problem is that she understands too quickly who is not the one. She pushes away even those who sincerely try, because she knows how it ends. It is better to be alone than disappointed. Silence is better than playing with feelings. Her loneliness is not pain. It is a conscious position. She knows what she wants. And until she gets it, she won't agree to anything.